It all started one morning when Alex woke up and realized they were absolutely over it. The grind, the same routine, the same feeling of just existing without truly living. The job was fine. It paid the bills, but it didn't light them up. It didn't fuel their soul. And every time they scrolled through social media, seeing friends hiking the Swiss Alps, sipping coffee in New York, or chasing sunsets in Australia, Alex felt this quiet but growing whisper in their gut. There has to be more to life than this. They were 29, in a small but cozy flat in a city buzzing with opportunities, but none that seemed to come their way. They had mates, sure, but those friendships felt shallow. The fun was there, but it was always short-lived. Alex knew something needed to change, but it wasn't until one Tuesday night, sitting alone in their flat, that they had the breakthrough. What's stopping me from building the life I actually want? And there it was, the moment of clarity. Alex wasn't going to sit by any longer, just letting life slip through their fingers. It was time to choose differently. You know how it is, right? Some decisions feel like the hardest thing ever, and yet, they're the ones that make all the difference. So Alex decided, no more playing small. This wasn't going to be the life they'd look back on in 10 years and regret. The next day, they told a few close friends, I'm making a change. Their mate Liam, a laid-back Aussie from Melbourne, looked at them with a raised eyebrow and asked, What's going on, mate? You've got the perfect gig, eh? And Alex, with that same quiet conviction they felt deep down, replied, Nah, not anymore. I'm done living just for the paycheck. Liam's response was classic. Fair dinkum, mate. Just make sure you've got something to fall back on. It wasn't an easy conversation. Some of their family thought it was a phase. You'll come back to your senses, their sister said, while another friend back in Canada laughed. This isn't the Canadian way, you know. Playing it safe is what we do best. But in that moment, Alex knew playing it safe wasn't the Canadian way anymore. It was about finally choosing to make their own path. Alex didn't just dive into this decision blindly. Nah, they needed to get clear on what was really important to them. So they asked themselves three big questions. What kind of life will make me proud? It wasn't about fame or a flashy career. It was about looking back 20 years from now and saying, I lived a life that was true to me. A life of meaning, of deep connections, and yes, a little adventure along the way. This wasn't just for Alex. This was for the kind of life they could tell their kids about someday. What do I have right now that I can build on? Alex wasn't starting from scratch. They had skills, they had resources, they had the drive. They didn't have to know exactly what the next step was, but they knew they weren't empty-handed. I've got my health, I've got a bit of cash, I've got a ton of ideas, time to use them. What am I willing to let go of? This was the real kicker. Alex realized that in order to make room for the life they truly wanted, they'd have to let go of some things. The comfortable but uninspiring job, the toxic habits, the fear of failure. In the Swiss spirit, wer nichts wagt, der nichts gewinnt. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. They didn't know exactly where the road would lead, but they made a promise to themselves. They were going to make a choice that would change everything. The first steps were small but significant. Alex set up a basic plan. Take an online course, meet a mentor, start networking. It didn't need to be perfect, just real. They even created a side hustle, working evenings on projects they loved. It was tough. Sometimes, the only thing keeping them going was the quiet determination that kept saying, one step at a time. But of course, things weren't all smooth sailing. Some days they felt like they were making zero progress. They had self-doubt creeping in, asking, what if I'm just wasting my time? Other days they had moments where they'd wake up and think, I've got this. I'm really doing it. In the middle of this grind, Alex called their Kiwi mate, Emma. She's one of those people who always seems to have life figured out, even if it's just an illusion. How do you do it, Em? How do you stay so on track? Alex asked. Honestly, you just choose. Every damn day, Emma said with her warm Kiwi drawl. But you've got to remember, it's not just about the big wins, it's about sticking with it. When the going gets tough, you know, just like how we say good things take time. That simple reminder stuck. As things began to move forward, the storm rolled in. Alex quit their job. No more 9-to-5 routine. They had some savings, sure, but now they needed to get their hustle on. The first few months were a roller coaster of ups and downs. They chased down clients. They pitched projects. They hustled hard. But the bills didn't stop coming in. Shit, Alex thought. What if I can't make it work? The weight of that fear almost pulled them back into their old life. But they remembered a phrase their German friend, Lukas, once told them: Wenn du aufgibst, wirst du nie erfahren, was du hättest erreichen können. If you give up, you'll never know what you could have achieved. Alex gritted their teeth, sat up straighter and said, Nah, I've come too far to back down now. Then it happened. That one call. A small UK company saw one of Alex's projects online and reached out to collaborate. They landed the deal. The first proper client. The first step toward turning their side hustle into a real business. It wasn't much, nothing crazy, but it was enough to prove Alex was on the right track. Slowly, things started falling into place. They got more clients, more opportunities. They felt that spark again, the same spark that had been missing before. It was hard, but now it felt real. They didn't just work harder. They worked smarter. They networked with people from all over the world. Americans, Brits, Germans, Swiss, Aussies, Canadians. They learned something crucial. When you open yourself up to different cultures, ideas, and ways of thinking, you start to see things differently. In Switzerland, they learned that slow and steady wins the race. Langsame Fortschritte sind auch Fortschritte. Slow progress is still progress. In the US, they heard, if you're not hustling, you're settling. From Australia, give it a crack, mate. The worst thing that can happen is you learn. And from Canada, take the shot. Eh? It all clicked together. Every entrepreneur has their setbacks, and Alex was no exception. There were moments when they felt like they were losing their grip. They'd miss deadlines, or a client would change their mind, or the funds would get too low. And yet the lessons kept coming. Alex started recognizing that building a life they were proud of wasn't just about the big wins. It was about sticking with it through the mess. They looked back on the early days, the struggles, and realized they wouldn't have traded those moments for anything. They grew not just in business, but in character. It was the words of their Norwegian friend Ingrid that helped put it into perspective. Det viktigste ikke hvordan du starter, men hvordan du slutter. The most important thing is not how you start, but how you finish. And Alex made a promise. They were going to finish strong. Fast forward a couple of years. Alex doesn't live in a mansion, doesn't drive a fancy car, but they do have something that can't be bought: pride in the life they've built. They're still growing, still pushing, but it's no longer about the end goal. It's about the journey. When Alex wakes up in the morning now, it feels different. They've created a life that aligns with their values. They're working with clients they admire and spending time with people who lift them up. Every day is a reminder that they made the choice that changed everything. And now to you, wherever you are in the world, whatever stage of life you're at, you have the power to make that same choice. It's never too late to start. The question is, what are you going to do today to get one step closer to a life you can be proud of?